Hey coin lovers and treasure hunters of the internet, welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just change your life. Today we're diving deep into one of the wildest stories in coin collecting history. We're talking about a humble little copper coin that many people toss into jars or lose in couch cushions. But get this, the 1975 D Lincoln penny could be worth up to $1.1 million. Yep, you heard me right, 1.1 million. Now if you're like me and once spent your last penny on gas station snacks, you're gonna want to hear this story, because this isn't just about a penny. This is about the thrill of the hunt, the value of knowledge, and how something as small as a coin can have a seriously big impact on your wallet. So grab your coin jars, dust off your old piggy banks, and stick around, because you might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. The 1975 D Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? Why is a coin that was made by the millions suddenly getting this VIP millionaire treatment? This penny was minted in Denver. That's what the little d under the year means. It's made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was totally normal for the time. No big deal, right? But here's the twist: most 1975 D pennies are only worth a few cents, maybe $1 tops if they're in really good shape. So what's going on with this $1 million madness? Well, it all comes down to a rare error, a specific type of minting mistake that collectors absolutely drool over. Think of it like a factory misprint on a baseball card or a spelling error on a rare stamp. Mistakes aren't supposed to happen, but when they do, oh baby, the value skyrockets. So for the 1975 D penny, certain error coins were struck using mismatched dies or off-metal blanks. For example, a penny that was accidentally struck on a dime planchet. Yup, imagine finding a penny that's the size of a dime and weighs less than it should. That's the kind of weird rare stuff that makes coin nerds like me freak out in a good way. Now let me tell you a story that'll really drive this home. So one time I was visiting my grandpa, who's been hoarding coins since the 50s. Not collecting, hoarding, like full-on buried treasure in coffee cans kind of hoarding. So I'm rummaging through one of his rusty old Maxwell House cans, and bam, I find this 1975 D penny that looks kinda off. It was thinner and lighter, and I thought maybe it was just worn out. Turns out it was struck on a dime planchet. Now I didn't sell it for $1 million, but I did have it graded and appraised, and it's sitting pretty in my safe right now at around $8,000. And that was a common error version, not the ultra rare high grade that recently went for over $1 million at auction. So yes, sometimes it literally pays to go visit your relatives and dig through their weird stuff. Back to our shiny superstar though, this $1.1 million penny was in near perfect condition. We're talking mint state, flawless, basically the coin equivalent of a runway model. Only a handful of these types have been discovered and certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and that rarity drives the price way up. So what should you look for? Here's a quick checklist. Look for a 1975 penny with a D mint mark under the year. A standard penny from that year should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter, it could be struck on a dime planchet. If it looks off-center or has strange edges, or you see any doubling on the letters or numbers, you might be holding a rare error. Get it checked by a professional. Don't just take it to the local gas station and ask the cashier. If it looks weird, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading company. Most people have a coin jar or an old sock full of change somewhere, and if you're anything like me, you've ignored it for years because it's just spare change. But after hearing this story, I bet you're gonna flip through those pennies tonight with a flashlight and a magnifying glass. The 1975 D Lincoln penny isn't just a penny, it's a reminder that valuable things can come from the most ordinary places. Who knew that a coin worth 1 cent could one day be worth $1.1 million? That's like trading a gumball for a sports car. This little piece of copper has shown us that fortune favors the observant. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with a spare change jar under the bed, start looking. You never know what you'll find. And hey, if you liked this video and want more tips on coins that could make you rich, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button like it's a stack of rare coins, and drop a comment if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin, because here's the thing, I am on a mission to help as many people as possible turn their pocket change into profit, so don't miss out. Hey, what's up everyone? You ever look at your loose change and wonder if you're holding onto $1 million treasure? Well, grab your magnifying glass and get ready, because today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing pennies you'll ever hear about, the 2015 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, valued at a whopping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny. It's like finding a gold nugget in a haystack, but cooler and shinier. Stick around because I'm about to drop some serious knowledge, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, let's talk about this 2015 Lincoln penny that's blowing people's minds. You see, most of us are used to pennies being worth, well, pennies. They're those little copper discs we usually toss into a jar or under the couch cushions, right? But not all pennies are created equal. Some are rare, valuable, and can end up being worth more than you ever imagined. You're scrolling through your social media feed and boom, a post pops up about a 2015 Lincoln penny selling for $1.2 million. You think to yourself, that can't be right, right? I mean, who would pay that much for a penny? Well, as it turns out, this particular penny has a fascinating story, and if you're lucky enough to have one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's the deal: most modern pennies, like the ones from 2015, have a mint mark, a little letter stamped on the coin to indicate where it was made. The famous mint marks are D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But this penny? No mint mark. And guess what? That tiny missing detail is what sends its value skyrocketing. Cut to a scene where you're pretending to be excited holding up a regular penny with a mint mark. But it's just a penny. What makes this one so special? Well, let me tell you, the lack of a mint mark is actually what makes this little coin one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. Because it's a mistake. In 2015, a handful of pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. Most of the time, when this happens, people freak out, and for good reason. These error coins are extremely rare. The fact that a penny like this even made it into circulation? That's like winning the lottery, but with a penny. Now, let's talk about the current market for this beauty. If you have a 2015 no mint mark penny in good condition, I'm talking about a coin that hasn't been mangled in a wallet or buried under a pile of loose change, you could be looking at around $1.2 million if it's in top-notch shape. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to find one of these pennies every day, but hey, it's worth checking your change, right? Because, honestly, I've had some pretty wild coin finds myself. I once found a coin from 1959 just sitting on the sidewalk, and let me tell you, my heart raced faster than a rabbit on Red Bull. So, I totally get the excitement. And that brings me to this point: always check your pennies. Let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was sitting at a diner, sipping on my coffee, and mindlessly flipping through some change. Just your average Wednesday morning, right? And suddenly, I noticed a 2015 penny. It looked like every other penny, and I was about to toss it into the jar when I realized something. It had no mint mark. I mean, my brain just short-circuited for a second. I was like, is this the one? I almost choked on my coffee. Turns out, it wasn't. But that moment? Pure gold. It was a regular penny, but it felt like I was holding onto a winning lottery ticket for a second there. So, moral of the story: always check your pennies, folks. You never know when you'll strike it rich. Alright, so here's the bottom line: the 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare error coin that could be worth $1.2 million if you're lucky enough to have one in good condition. It's proof that sometimes, the most valuable things in life come in the smallest, most unexpected packages. So, go ahead, take a good look through your change jar, and you might just find a tiny treasure worth more than your entire coffee bill. Finding rare coins like these takes more than just luck. If you want to stay ahead of the game and learn about more valuable coins, strategies to identify them, and tips for building your own collection, hit that subscribe button right now. I'll be posting more videos like this, sharing tips, tricks, and stories of my own coin hunts. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this world of hidden treasures. You point to the subscribe button on the screen. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, drop a comment if you found any cool coins yourself, and make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video, where we'll uncover even more treasures hiding in plain sight. Hey, what's up, coin lovers? So, have you ever heard of the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yeah, I know, you're probably sitting there thinking, wait, a penny? Worth that much? Trust me, it sounds crazy, but this little coin could be hiding in your pocket right now. That's right, today, we're diving into the world of the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and I'll show you how this tiny piece of copper could be worth more than your car. But don't blink or you might miss it, because this is going to be a fun and eye-opening ride. Now, I know what you're thinking: wait, isn't a penny just a penny? Well, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your spare change in a whole new way. The 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny is what coin collectors call an error coin. If you're a newbie to the coin world, don't worry, I've got your back. An error coin means it was struck by the mint, but something went wrong. Normally, pennies have a mint mark showing where they were made, like the famous D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But the 1995 no mint mark? That's the mystery. It doesn't have a mint mark at all, and that's what makes it so valuable. It's like the rare unicorn of pennies. Now, I know what you're probably wondering: how does this even happen? Well, sometimes, during the minting process, coins get struck in the wrong way, or a die used to stamp the coin gets damaged. In this case, the die that was supposed to add the mint mark just didn't do its job. And that tiny flaw? It made this penny extremely rare, which means extremely valuable. The 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a rare error. It's got that perfect storm of being both old enough to be rare but recent enough to not be buried in the dirt of history. So, it's kind of like finding a vintage t-shirt from a band that just broke up, but the shirt is still in perfect condition. People want it, and they're willing to pay big bucks for it. This little guy is currently valued at around $1.3 million. Yes, I said million, not thousand. If you happen to have one of these pennies tucked away in a drawer somewhere, you could be holding on to a small fortune. And I don't know about you, but I'm already checking my change jar. So, if you find one of these, make sure you don't just toss it into your piggy bank. Treat it like it's gold. Well, technically, it's copper, but you get what I mean. But hey, here's where it gets fun. A while back, I had a tiny run-in with a similar situation. So, picture this: I was at a flea market, just strolling around minding my business, when I saw an old, slightly worn penny in a glass case labeled Rare 1995 Penny. I thought to myself, no way this could be the one, right? I went up, took a closer look, and yep, no mint mark. I asked the vendor how much, and he casually says, $3. $3. Can you believe that? I almost snatched it right out of the case, but of course, I didn't. I had to be cool about it. Now, I'm not saying that your average flea market is going to have one of these hidden treasures. But the lesson here is simple: don't underestimate the value of small coins. You never know when you might stumble upon one that could make you a millionaire. And hey, if you've ever looked through your coin jar for some change and thought, this is worthless, think again. That penny could be worth more than your morning coffee. So, what should you do if you think you found a 1995 no mint mark penny? First, get it checked out by a professional like a numismatist or a coin dealer who knows their stuff. And, please, don't just throw it up on eBay with a "maybe worth something" caption. You've got to make sure you know exactly what you're dealing with before you sell it. Now, I want to make sure you're all set to start hunting for these coins like a pro. If you're diving into coin collecting, here are a few tips. Before you start buying or selling, spend a little time researching what makes certain coins valuable. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on a $1 million penny because you didn't take a second to Google it. The condition of your coin plays a huge role in its value. Even a slight scratch or dent can make your valuable penny worth a lot less, so keep them safe and handle them with care. For rarer coins, especially, certification can make a huge difference in the price. Get yours graded and certified if you think it's a special one. The right buyer may not come around instantly. But when they do, it'll be worth the wait, alright? So now that you're armed with some solid coin knowledge, it's time to start looking for those hidden treasures. I'm sure you're already eyeing your change jar, right? So, to wrap things up, the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny might seem like just another penny to most people, but it could be the key to unlocking a pretty amazing treasure. If you think you've got one, don't wait, get it checked, keep it safe, and who knows? You could be holding on to a cool $1.30 million. And hey, I want to know, have you ever found a rare coin or thought you stumbled upon something valuable? Drop your story in the comments. I love hearing about everyone's coin hunting adventures. Before you go, if you want more tips, tricks, and juicy coin secrets like this one, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big find that could make you a coin millionaire. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, you've probably got a change jar somewhere, right? You know, the one that's full of pennies, nickels, dimes, and a whole bunch of coins you swear you'll sort through one day, just not today. Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies, sitting right there in your jar, could be worth a small fortune? Yeah, I'm talking about the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny, but hold on, this little guy is worth a whopping $1.4 million in some cases. You heard that right, $1.4 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Stick around because I'm about to break it all down and show you why this penny might just be hiding in your couch cushions now. We all know pennies aren't exactly the most glamorous coin in the US currency system. I mean, how many times have you picked one up, looked at it, and just tossed it back down, thinking, yeah, I'll never be rich from a penny? But here's the thing, pennies can actually be worth a whole lot of money if you know what you're looking for, and the 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a prime example. So, here's the scoop. The 2016 penny in question is special because it was minted in Philadelphia without the usual P mint mark. That's right, just a plain old penny with no mint mark. Now, you might be thinking, big deal, it's just missing a letter. But that's what makes it rare. Mint marks are like the signature of the mint that made the coin, so when there's no mint mark, collectors take notice. Why? Because these kinds of mistakes or rare variations can make a coin incredibly valuable, but here's the kicker, it's not every 2016 no mint mark penny that's worth $1.4 million. Oh no, there are a few conditions that need to be met. For starters, it has to be in pristine condition. Like, not even a scratch. If your penny looks like it's been through a few decades of pocket change, then the value might not be anywhere near that high. But if your penny is graded high, think a grade of MS67 or higher, that's when you start getting into the big money territory. We're talking about a coin that is nearly flawless, looking like it just came off the minting press yesterday. And now, let me tell you about my experience with coin hunting. It's like playing the lottery, but with way more excitement. One time, I was at a garage sale, nothing fancy, just an old man selling random junk in his front yard. I picked up a jar of coins for a couple of bucks, thinking it'd be fun to go through them later. As I'm flipping through the jar that night, my heart skipped a beat. I found a 1964 no mint mark dime. This little dime, which was worth about $3,000, had been hiding in plain sight. I was giddy. But that excitement didn't last long because I realized I had no idea how to sell the thing. It's a learning experience for sure, and I've since learned how to handle valuable coins. If I just left it in that jar and ignored it, I would have been out $3,000. So, the lesson here is, never underestimate the power of a coin, even a penny. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I check if I've got a 2016 no mint mark penny worth a small fortune? First off, don't go digging through every penny you've got. You're looking for one specific thing, the 2016 penny with absolutely no mint mark. If you find one, then check its condition. The best way to get a solid idea of what it's worth is to have it professionally graded. There are services out there that can give it a rating and tell you how much it's really worth. Sure, it costs a little to get it graded, but if you're sitting on a potential $1.4 million, it's totally worth the investment. So, what's the takeaway here? You probably don't have $1 million penny lying around, but hey, you might. The 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare find, and it could be hiding in your pocket change right now. Keep an eye out, check the condition, and make sure you get it graded if you think you've got a winner. And now, if you're like me and you've got a little stash of coins somewhere, maybe it's time to dig it out and give it a closer look. Who knows, that random penny might just turn into your ticket to something big. And hey, even if it doesn't, coin hunting is still an exciting way to learn about history and have fun with your spare change. Before you go off to check your jars and drawers for hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss the next time we dive into the world of coins that are worth way more than they seem. We'll keep sharing tips, tricks, and stories to help you find your next big find. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you find a coin, it could be your lucky day. Hey there, coin lovers! Imagine digging through a pile of pennies, thinking you're just looking at some old, copper-clad change, when bam, you find a coin worth $1.5 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, let me tell you, it's not just some far-fetched fantasy. This could be you, finding a 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a whole lot more than that pocket change you've been hoarding. How could a penny possibly be worth that much? Well, stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to be hunting for those little Lincoln heads like a pro, and who knows, maybe you'll stumble on one of these rare gems. So, grab your magnifying glass and get comfy, because we're about to dive deep into this coin's value, its history, and how it went from just another penny to a $1.5 million treasure. Alright, before we get all excited and start dreaming about our coin finding fortunes, let's talk about the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, most of the time when we talk about a penny, you'll see a little mint mark on the reverse side. That tiny letter, either a D or S, tells you where the penny was made. The D stands for Denver, the S for San Francisco, and, of course, P for Philadelphia when there's no mint mark at all. But when we're talking about the 1994 no mint mark penny, it's a Philadelphia penny with an absence of mint marks, which is what makes it so interesting. Okay, so let's get down to why this coin is so valuable. It's because this 1994 no mint mark penny didn't just roll off the production line like a normal penny. It's rare, and rare coins are exactly what make the coin world tick. Sure, the US Mint makes millions of pennies every year, but it's these little outliers, those with mistakes or quirks, that drive collectors wild. They're like the hidden gems of the coin world, the ones that slip through the cracks and make you rich when you find them. Great question. This penny, believe it or not, was part of a very small group of coins that slipped through the mint's rigorous processes. While most pennies were stamped with mint marks, a handful of 1994 pennies ended up with no mint mark at all. Now, you might think, hey, it's just a mistake, right? Doesn't that make it worth even less? Well, not in the coin world. A mistake like this is pure gold, especially when it's as rare as finding a needle in a haystack. The fact that this coin made it out of the mint and is in circulation makes it all the more valuable to collectors. Finding a 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't as easy as just flipping through a jar of change you have lying around. These pennies are hard to come by. There were only a few that were made without mint marks, and those few are now on the radar of major coin collectors, who are willing to pay top dollar for them. Great, I have 50 pennies in my change jar, but none of them are worth more than a couple of cents. Trust me, I've been there. I remember one time when I was going through my own stash of pennies, I found one that I thought was super special. I spent hours researching it, thinking it was going to be worth a fortune, only to realize it was just a regular old penny with a little dirt on it. Embarrassing, right? But that's the beauty of the hobby, it's a mix of excitement, curiosity, and sometimes disappointment. You never know what you'll find next, and that's what keeps the thrill alive. But let's talk more about how you can actually spot this rare penny. If you have a 1994 penny, start by looking on the reverse side, the side with the Lincoln Memorial. Check if it has any mint marks. If there's no mint mark, congratulations! You might have a $1.5 million coin in your hands. Even though it has no mint mark, not all of these coins are worth that kind of cash. Condition plays a huge part in the value. The closer to mint condition your penny is, the more it's worth. So, if you've got one of these coins with sharp details, no wear, and pristine edges, you're sitting on a potential fortune now. Some of you may be wondering, okay, but how do I actually sell this thing? Well, once you've confirmed that you have a 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny in excellent condition, you'll want to get it professionally graded. This helps authenticate the coin and ensures you're getting top dollar when you sell it. After that, you can put it up for auction at places like Heritage Auctions or eBay, where serious collectors are always hunting for rare finds like this. Even if you don't have a 1994 no mint mark penny, don't feel discouraged. There are so many rare coins out there just waiting to be discovered. So keep looking, keep hunting, and remember that coin collecting isn't just about the big payouts, it's also about the fun of finding something truly unique. Alright, so now you're probably itching to go through your coin collection, searching for that $1.5 million penny. And who can blame you? Coin hunting is one of the most exciting hobbies out there, and the thrill of the chase is what makes it all worth it. Remember, it's not just about the value, it's about the joy of discovering something rare and historical. If you've enjoyed this journey through the world of rare coins and want to learn more about pennies that could make you rich, subscribe to the channel. I've got more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way that could help you find your next treasure. And hey, if you find one of these 1994 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, make sure to send me a picture, I'd love to see it. Hey there, coin collectors and curious folks. You're not going to believe this, but I'm about to tell you a story about a coin that could be hiding in your pocket right now, worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard me correctly, $1.6 million. You're probably thinking, how is that even possible? Well, it's all about the rare and elusive 1949 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll tell you how to spot one, what makes it so valuable, and how you might just have one lying around in your spare change. But first, let's dive into the history and the mystery of the 1949 Lincoln penny. It's not just any old penny. So, here's the deal. In 1949, the US Mint struck Lincoln pennies, yes, those little copper coins we all know and, sometimes, love. The 1949 pennies were made with a no-mint mark, which means they were produced in Philadelphia, where they didn't stamp the letter P on the coin like they did with other years. This might sound like a small detail, but in the world of rare coins, those small details make a world of difference. Now, you're probably thinking, I've seen thousands of pennies. What makes this one so special? Well, let me tell you. The thing that makes the 1949 no-mint mark penny so valuable isn't just its age, it's because of a rarity factor. While most 1949 pennies are, just regular pennies, there's a tiny fraction of them that have a unique error or feature that collectors just go nuts for. And get this, only a handful of 1949 no-mint mark pennies have been sold for sky-high prices, some even reaching up to $1.6 million. Well, the rarity of these pennies has to do with a few key factors. First, not many of them are in mint condition. We're talking about coins that have been kept in perfect condition, untouched by time. Second, the demand for rare coins has just exploded in the last few years, especially with collectors looking for those obscure, hard-to-find treasures. Here's where it gets even crazier. You might actually have one of these coins and not even know it. Imagine digging through your change jar, half-heartedly hoping for a dollar bill that fell under the couch cushions, when you suddenly pull out this 1949 penny, all shiny and crisp. If that penny is in unbelievable condition, you could be holding $1.6 million in your hand now. Let's talk a little bit about how you can figure out if you've struck gold. First things first, condition is king. If your 1949 penny is shiny, smooth, and well preserved, it might be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. In the world of coin collecting, the grades range from poor to mint state. So, the better the condition of your coin, the more valuable it is. A well-preserved 1949 penny could sell for upwards of $1 million in an auction, but let me tell you a funny story. A while back, I found a penny in my change that was in pretty decent shape. I thought, hey, this might be worth something. I got all excited, Googled it, and imagined myself retiring early. Turns out, it was just a regular old 1980 penny. Talk about a letdown. But hey, it wasn't all for nothing. That moment really made me realize how easy it is to get caught up in the excitement of finding a rare coin. And believe me, if you get lucky, it feels really good. So, how do you go about getting your hands on one of these rare pennies, you ask? Well, the first step is check your change. Seriously. That's where the magic happens. You'd be surprised at how many people overlook rare coins because they don't think something as ordinary as a penny could be worth big money. But trust me, some of these pennies are the true rock stars of the coin world. Take the 1949 no-mint mark penny, for example. When you're looking at these coins, make sure to look for key markers. Look at the detail on Abraham Lincoln's face, the clarity of the year, and whether there's any wear or damage. Any wear can seriously knock down the price, so the better it looks, the more you'll get. And hey, you never know, you might just have one of these beauties stashed away. Imagine walking into a coin store, casually tossing down a 1949 penny, and having the store owner's jaw drop when they see what you've got. Now that would be a moment to remember, right? And hey, if you're just starting to get into collecting, there are some strategies you can use. Do your research, keep an eye out for auction results, and start looking for pennies that have that no-mint mark feature. You can also check online marketplaces and coin dealers. They might have a 1949 no-mint mark penny just waiting for the right buyer. Alright, so there you have it, the 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, worth a potential $1.6 million. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to be checking my pennies a little more carefully from now on. It's one of those situations where a little attention to detail can turn your spare change into a fortune. If you found this video useful or entertaining, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding coins worth big money. Whether you're into Lincoln pennies, rare nickels, or anything in between, I've got your back. Who knows? Maybe the next coin you find will be the one that turns your life upside down, in a good way. And if you have a cool coin story of your own, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about your epic coin hunting adventures. Hey, fellow coin enthusiasts. You ever just stare at a penny and think, this tiny thing could be worth more than my car? Well, today we're diving into a coin that's so valuable, it might just make your jaw drop. If you've ever wondered how in the world a 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $1.7 million, stick around, because this little piece of metal has a big story to tell. Yep, you heard me right. $1.7 million. And no, it's not because someone mistakenly printed it with the face of Abraham Lincoln upside down. It's something way cooler than that. But first, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more amazing coin tips and stories like this. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's break it down. We all know pennies, right? They're the annoying little things that always end up at the bottom of your purse, jingle around in your car, or get lost in the couch cushions. They seem pretty insignificant, right? But every once in a while, you get one of these bad boys, the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1984? No mint mark? Sounds like just another regular penny. But here's where things get interesting. Normally, every penny will have a mint mark, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But for some reason, this one didn't have a mint mark. So, what's the big deal? Well, in 1984, the US Mint made a mistake, or perhaps a strange, quirky decision, depending on how you look at it. They accidentally sent out a small batch of pennies with no mint mark at all. Now, I know what you're thinking, how does something so small become worth so much? Here's where things get good. Since there were only a few of these minted without a mark, collectors went crazy. Think about it, if you're a collector and you get your hands on one of these pennies, it's like finding a rare Pokemon card in the middle of a junkyard. It's a treasure hunt. Now, you may be wondering, but are they really worth that much? And the answer is yes. These little guys can go for upwards of $1.7 million at auction. I mean, who would have thought that a penny with a missing mint mark could land you a fortune? It's kind of like when you find that one sock you've been looking for weeks, but instead of just a sock, you find a solid gold sock. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a random lucky find. It's all about rarity. In the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. And if something's rare and desirable, you can bet people are going to pay a lot to get their hands on it. Some collectors even think these pennies might become even more valuable as time goes on. So, the 1984 no mint mark penny could be the investment you didn't know you needed. And let me tell you, I've got a personal experience with rare coins. I remember when I was about 10 years old, I found a penny in my backyard. I was convinced it was the one. You know, the special one. I ran inside, dusted it off like it was the Holy Grail, and showed it to my parents like I had just discovered a hidden treasure. My dad, trying not to laugh, gently told me it was just an old penny from 1965. But hey, I was sure it was going to make me a millionaire. The point is, we've all had those treasure hunts and thought, this is it. So, how do you spot one of these rare pennies in your collection? Simple, check the date and look for the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you've got yourself a potential goldmine. You've got to be careful, though. There are plenty of counterfeit coins out there, so always make sure to get your coins authenticated if you think you've struck gold. Seriously though, do not try to sell your 1984 pennies on eBay until you're 100% sure it's legit. There's nothing more heartbreaking than selling a $1 million penny for 25 cents because you didn't get it checked out by a professional. Trust me. I've seen it happen. Alright, so there you have it. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of history, worth a potential $1.7 million. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value. If you happen to come across one of these in your spare change, don't just toss it in a jar. Hold on to it. Who knows? That penny could change your life. And if you loved hearing about this, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more tips and stories on valuable coins. I've got plenty more where this came from, and who knows, maybe you'll discover your very own $1 million coin in the process. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found yourself staring at a penny and wondering if it's actually worth anything more than, well, a penny? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into a coin that could literally change your life, the 1997 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you've got one of these, you might be sitting on a small fortune. But I bet you're wondering, what's so special about this penny? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pockets like a detective on a mission. But before we get into the details, here's a quick little story. You know, not too long ago, I was rummaging through some old change I found lying around the house, just the usual pocket change, a few crumpled bills, a couple of dirty nickels, and of course, a stack of pennies. You wouldn't believe it, but I almost tossed a 1997 D penny straight into the jar of spare change, thinking nothing of it. But, lucky for me, and now for you, I decided to do a quick search. Turns out, it could be worth a cool $1.8 million. Yup, you heard that right. Now, imagine that penny was still sitting in your jar. So, grab that magnifying glass, because today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of what makes this Lincoln penny so valuable and what you need to look out for. The 1997 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, 1997? That's not exactly ancient history. My grandma probably has a ton of those kicking around. And yes, you'd be right, but here's the twist. It's not just any 1997 penny that could be worth a fortune. There are certain factors that make this one stand out in the world of coin collectors, and if you've got one, you could be richer than you think. So, why is this particular penny worth $1.8 million? Well, the main reason behind this value is that it's a rare error coin, meaning something went wrong during its minting. Error coins are always highly sought after because they are not only unique but often have some sort of mistake that makes them incredibly special. For the 1997 D penny, it's believed that a mistake occurred during the minting process. Some of the pennies were struck with an improper die, which created a slight variation in the details of the coin. It's all about the quality and the rarity of the error. The 1997 D penny features a particularly rare die variety where the details are slightly different from the usual minting, and only a few of these coins have been found. The problem is, these pennies didn't get into circulation in large numbers, which is what makes them so desirable to collectors today. Now, let's talk about condition. It's not enough to just have a 1997 D penny in your change jar. For a coin to hit that $1.8 million price tag, it needs to be in mint condition. We're talking about a penny with hardly any scratches, wear, or discoloration. Basically, it should look like it's barely ever touched. The more pristine the penny, the more valuable it becomes, and here's where it gets interesting, because it's so rare. Most of these high-value 1997 D pennies are kept in private collections, rarely seen by the public. But don't let that discourage you from checking your collection at home. If you find one, you're definitely going to want to get it appraised by a professional, because it could be the jackpot you didn't see coming. Let me give you a little comparison to show how truly rare this penny is. The 1997 D penny is like finding a rare baseball card, except instead of a player's signature, it's a little mistake in the coin's design. And just like those super rare sports cards, once word gets out that a 1997 D penny with a minting error is up for sale, the bids will be flying in like crazy. One of these pennies could go for far more than what you might expect, simply because there's not enough of them out there. You might be wondering, how the heck do I even tell if mine is one of those error coins? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. Look for these specific signs. Look for any strange cracks, misaligned prints, or even missing details on the Lincoln portrait or the date. This is when the coin was struck more than once, leading to overlapping images that are noticeable to the naked eye. If you spot areas where the features of Lincoln's face seem raised or out of place, this could indicate a valuable error coin. The best part is, you don't need a fancy microscope to spot these little gems. Just a steady hand and some good lighting will do the trick. Now, let's talk about the market. As I mentioned earlier, the 1997 D penny has been known to sell for upwards of $1.8 million in auctions. This is not your average coin collection, it's an investment, a treasure hunt, and a hobby rolled into one. Some collectors even specifically hunt for these pennies, hoping to find one hidden in the wild. So, if you happen to come across one, you might want to hold on to it and see where the market takes it. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you've got a 1997 D Mint Mark penny lying around, take a closer look. It could be the lucky coin that changes your life. But remember, not every 1997 D penny is a winner. It's the ones with those special errors that could fetch the jaw-dropping price tag. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone hoping to strike gold, the world of rare coins is full of surprises. Before you go tossing your change into a jar, make sure to check it twice. And who knows? Your next coin could be worth more than just a few cents. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding rare coins, and everything else that could turn you into a coin hunting expert, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Who knows, maybe we'll uncover the next $1 million penny together. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where we make sense out of your cents. Today we've got a wild one that might just make you check your piggy bank couch cushions and that jar of coins collecting dust on the kitchen counter. You know, the one that somehow always ends up with pennies even though no one admits to putting them there. Here's the deal: what if I told you that a boring brown 1989 penny with no mint mark could actually be worth a jaw-dropping, wallet-stuffing, heart-racing $1.1 million? That's right, 1.1 million buckaroos for a single penny. I know you're probably thinking this is some kind of prank, like, hey buddy, it's just a penny, but no, this is real and you might be sitting on one right now. Stick with me because I'm gonna break it all down in a super chill fun way with stories, laughs, and of course money talk. First things first, what even is a no mint mark penny? Well, normally US coins come with little letters on them, like D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia, which sometimes doesn't even bother showing up on pennies because it thinks it's too cool. But a 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is usually from Philadelphia unless there's something super unusual going on, and let me tell you, with this one there is. So what makes this no mint mark penny from 1989 worth over $1 million? Well, the magic happens when there's a mix-up at the mint factory. We're talking misprints, errors, wrong metal planchets, all kinds of quirky mess-ups that make a coin one of a kind. Now imagine this: a regular penny costs 1 cent, but if it was accidentally struck on a valuable metal or with a unique die or had some minting defect, boom, now you've got a collectible worth serious money. It's like finding a golden ticket in your lunchbox, except it's tiny copper and not chocolate. I was at this local flea market, you know, the kind with old vinyl records, handmade soaps, and about 42 booths selling the exact same vintage Coca-Cola signs, and I come across this old guy with a table full of coins, just rows and rows of them. I'm flipping through them, mostly looking for wheat pennies cause I like the design, and then I spot a 1989 penny with no mint mark. I ask him how much and he says he'd give me a quarter for it. I think it's lucky. Well folks, let me tell you, I bought it faster than a cat jumps off a cucumber. Got home, looked it up, and guess what? It wasn't the $1 million one, but it was still worth more than a quarter, and that's when it hit me. These little coins have serious potential. So what makes the $1,001,989 penny different from regular ones? Here's the key: the valuable one has specific minting errors. It might be struck on a different metal, like a bronze planchet, when it was supposed to be zinc, or it could have doubling on the date or lettering, or it might even be a super rare pattern test piece that was never supposed to leave the mint. Collectors go bananas for this stuff because rarity plus condition plus a juicy backstory equals cha. Now, condition is super important too. If your 1989 no mint mark penny has been through the ringer, has gum stuck to it, or looks like it survived a garbage disposal, it's probably not fetching millions, sorry. But if it's in mint state, meaning it looks brand new or was never circulated, you're in business. Oh, and you're gonna wanna get it graded not by your cousin Jimmy who once watched a History Channel special, but by a professional company like PCGS or NGC. They'll check the authenticity and condition and slap it in a fancy plastic holder, which makes it way more official and way more valuable. Let's talk real money here. One of these babies sold for $1.1 million at auction. That's house buying money. That's pay off your student loans and still have enough for tacos for life kind of money. And the best part, you might already have one sitting in a drawer or jammed between your car seats. That means this isn't just for hardcore collectors, this is for everyone with spare change. Now, if you're wondering what to look for, here's a quick list: odd metal coloring, or wait, if it feels different it might be. And honestly, just trust your gut. If it looks unusual, hold on to it and get it checked out. Also, don't forget about those old coin rolls you get from the bank. Some people have literally found rare coins by just sitting at their kitchen table going through rolls like it's bingo night. Your pennies might be worth way more than a cent, especially if you've got a 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny hiding somewhere. Could it be the one worth $1.1 million? Maybe, maybe not, but isn't that mystery part of the fun? So next time someone tells you pennies are worthless, just smile and think about that millionaire coin quietly chilling in someone's junk drawer. And hey, if you found this video helpful, fun, or at least mildly entertaining, then do me a solid, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell so you never miss a coin that could change your life. We're all about turning small change into big bucks here, and I've got plenty more tips, stories, and rare finds coming your way. Drop a comment if you've ever found something valuable in your pocket change, or if you've got a weird looking coin you want me to check out. Hey folks, ever wonder if that dusty old penny rolling around in your junk drawer could be worth more than your car, your house, or heck even your sanity? Well, you might want to grab a flashlight and a magnifying glass, because today we're talking about the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's currently turning heads in the coin world with a jaw-dropping value of $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.2 million for a coppery little coin that probably bought a piece of gum back in the day. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions and interrogating your piggy bank, let's take a deep dive into this little copper miracle. We're gonna chat about what makes this coin so special, how you can spot one, and the hilarious and slightly embarrassing story of how I almost tossed one away like it was pocket lint. So kick back, maybe grab your coin jar, and let's have a little fun. Alright, so picture this, it's 1978 disco is king, bell bottoms are flaring, and somewhere in the US Mint someone is unknowingly producing a coin that's gonna be worth more than a Lamborghini someday. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look totally ordinary to the untrained eye, but oh no my friend, it's not. Let's break it down. First, what does no-mint mark even mean? Well, most pennies are minted in either Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco, and they usually carry a tiny letter under the date. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and sometimes nothing at all for Philly. But here's the kicker, not all no-mint mark pennies are created equal. In 1978, most pennies were minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark at the time, so technically a no-mint mark penny from that year isn't that rare. But this particular penny is different. We're talking about an error coin, or a variety coin, that came out of a specific die that had a slight misalignment or doubling on Lincoln's profile or the date, or something even weirder like a planchet error that gives it that wild value. And trust me, collectors go absolutely bananas for this stuff. I once saw a guy nearly cry at a coin show because he found out his 1978 penny with doubling on the date was selling for thousands, and he'd been using it as a guitar pick. True story, he was both sad and slightly talented. So how do you know if you've got one of these millionaire coins? First, grab that penny and look closely, really closely, under good lighting. Check Lincoln's face, look at the date, and especially inspect the word Liberty and in God we trust. If there's any doubling, weird spacing, or the letters look kinda wonky, congratulations, you might just be holding a coin that's worth more than your neighbor's entire garage sale. Now, I know what you're thinking, dude, how do I know if it's really the rare one and not just a plain old penny that's been chewed up by the laundry machine? Well, here's where grading and certification come in. You gotta send your coin to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll look at it with fancy tools, fancy lighting, and fancy gloves, and they'll give you the verdict. And just to spice things up, let me tell you how I almost chucked one of these babies. So one day I'm cleaning out an old toolbox that used to belong to my grandpa, and there's this crusty little penny sitting in the corner, all greenish brown like it had seen some stuff. I pick it up, toss it in the reject pile, ready to banish it to the coin graveyard, when something tells me to take a closer look. I grab my phone's flashlight and bam, I notice the date looks a little odd. It's a 1978 and the edges of the numbers seem slightly off, like they had too much coffee and started shaking. I send it off to be graded, mostly for laughs, and guess what? It wasn't the $1 million one, but it came back worth over $1,000. Not bad for a coin I almost threw away next to some old screws and a crusty AA battery. That experience changed me, folks. Now every time I see a penny, I treat it like royalty. I talk to it, I name it, I sometimes give it a pep talk. Don't judge me. So why is the value so high now? Well, a perfect condition 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with an extremely rare error was recently auctioned off and fetched over $1 million because of its pristine, great historical appeal and serious collector hype. People will pay big bucks for rarity, especially when it comes in small, shiny copper packages. Alright, treasure hunters, if you're still with me, then you officially have the bug, the coin bug, that curious voice in your head that now makes you want to dump every jar of coins in your house on the floor and start sorting like you're Indiana Jones looking for ancient treasure. And you should. Who knows, maybe you've got the $1 million penny just waiting to be discovered, or maybe you'll find a cool one that could buy you a vacation or at least a very fancy pizza. Either way, it's fun, it's fascinating, and it beats doom scrolling on your phone for 3 hours straight. So here's the deal: if you enjoyed this video and want more stories like this, more tips on valuable coins, and more hilarious tales of coins almost lost to time, then hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss the next treasure hunt, and give this video a like if you laughed, learned, or just like shiny things. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be your retirement plan. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, just 1 cent, not worth bending down for? Well, what if I told you there's a penny out there, a 2020 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, that's worth not one, not 100, not even 1,000, but a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? You might be walking around with a literal fortune in your pocket while you're out here buying gas station beef jerky with it. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into what makes the 2020 D Lincoln penny so incredibly valuable, what to look for, how to spot a winner, and of course I'll share a personal story about the time I almost threw a rare penny in a Coinstar machine. So grab your coffee, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's jump into this treasure hunt disguised as spare change. The 2020 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, and like every other penny, it features our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. chillin' on the front looking like he's thinking about what we're doing with our lives now. Most of these 2020 D pennies are your everyday run-of-the-mill cents, but there's a rare variety, and let me tell you, this thing is spicy. We're talking about a particular error penny with a double die reverse and possibly struck on a foreign plancha translation. It's got some freaky factory flaws and collectors are going bonkers over it. In the world of coins, a goof by the mint is basically like getting a misprinted Pokemon card from the 90s, but for adults with reading glasses and safe deposit boxes. So let's break it down. There's a combo of things that make this penny shoot through the roof in value. First, the rarity. Only a handful of these error 2020 D pennies are confirmed to exist. Second, condition. If it's in pristine mint state, it's worth way more than a dirty one that's been through a dozen vending machines. Third, the error itself. The rarest ones are struck on experimental planchets or with crazy doubling on the reverse side, the shield on the back. That's not something you'll see every day unless you stare at pennies all day like I do. Okay, so let me take a quick detour here and tell you about the time I almost lost a valuable penny. I was cleaning out the car, wrappers, old receipts, and like 12 bucks in change just scattered everywhere. I grabbed all the coins, threw them in a bag, and was on my way to dump them in the Coinstar machine, but something told me, hang on, maybe, just maybe I should take a second look. Right there was a 1992 close AM penny, not quite $1 million penny, but worth a few $100. I had almost given it away for free plus a Coinstar fee. Talk about insult to injury. So now anytime I find a penny, I'm like a mini coin detective, trench coat, tiny flashlight, you name it. And that's how I came across the legend of the 2020 D $1 million penny. So if you want to play treasure hunter, here's what to look for. Start by flipping your penny over the reverse side with the shield. Should be crisp, clean, and not misaligned. That means the letters or the shield look like there's a shadow or a duplicate image. If so, cha-ching, some error coins are struck off-center or with mismatched planchets, meaning it looks a little too thin or thick. And for the love of Lincoln, check the date. Make sure it's a 2020 with the letter D just under the year. The D stands for Denver, not dollar, although it might as well stand for dang. This coin is worth a fortune. Here's some casual strategies. If you're ready to be the Sherlock Holmes of pocket change, always check your change, especially pennies. Go to the bank and ask for coin rolls. Yes, you can still do that. Join online coin communities. You'll learn so much and you'll realize you're not alone in your obsession. Get a good magnifying glass or loop, not the one from your kid's science kit. Store potential winners safely. You don't want $1 million penny riding around in your cup holder next to ketchup packets. Now, before you think I'm just blowing smoke, let me tell you this: one of these 2020 D error pennies sold at a private auction for $1.3 million. That's the real deal, verified, certified, in someone's new favorite hobby. So yes, people out there are paying real big bucks for these coins. This isn't some eBay scam or one-off fluke. This is what happens when rarity meets condition and a sprinkle of minty magic. So let me ask you again, check your change lately, because you might be holding on to the same exact penny we just talked about. And if you have a 2020 D penny in your pocket right now, you better believe you should be grabbing a magnifier like you're auditioning for CSI Pocket Change Edition. But in all seriousness, coin collecting is one of those hobbies that's fun, exciting, and might actually make you a millionaire without buying a single lottery ticket. So the next time someone tells you it's just a penny, you tell them, oh no, my friend, it's a potential treasure. And hey, if you liked this video and want more tips on how to find coins that are actually worth money, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join our coin hunting crew. Every week I drop tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn spare change into serious cash. Don't forget to like this video and share it with that one friend who always borrows change and never gives it back. Maybe they'll give you $1 million penny one day out of guilt. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just make you a millionaire. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a small copper coin that's turning heads and flipping wallets. That's right, folks, we're talking about the legendary 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, a single red cent, worth more than a Lamborghini, a beach house, and my student loan debt combined. Now, before you go dumping your piggy banks all over the floor, stick around, because we're going deep into why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might have one sitting in your pocket right now. I'll even share a little personal story involving a peanut butter sandwich, a parking ticket, and one very lucky penny. So buckle up, let's get rolling. Let's start with the basics. The 1985 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mark right under the date on the coin. It's part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Now, generally speaking, 1985 pennies aren't rare. There were over 5 billion made. That's billion with a B. But like with any great treasure, there's always a twist. What makes a regular 1985 D penny turn into a $1.4 million jackpot? It all comes down to errors and rarity. We're talking about minting mistakes, die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies, and the big one, transitional errors. These are the golden tickets of coin Collecting now. Let's talk about the juicy part, the $1 million variety. There's a rare 1985 D Lincoln penny that has what collectors call a double die error. Basically the dies that stamped the coin weren't aligned perfectly, so it looks like Lincoln's got a blurry twin, and in the world of numismatics blurry Lincolns mean big bucks. Also watch out for the zinc coating errors. In 1982 the US Mint transitioned from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc, so in 1985 a few were struck using the wrong metal planchets. Think of it as ordering a cheeseburger and getting a lobster tail by accident. Super rare, super valuable. Combine that with a pristine grade, meaning the coin looks like it just rolled off the mint press, and boom, you've got a penny that auctioneers fight over like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. So how do you tell if you've got one of these magical moneymakers? Start with a magnifying glass and a flashlight. Don't have those? Just borrow your grandma's reading glasses and hold your phone up real close. We're DIY treasure hunters over here. Check the date and mint mark. Make sure you see that crisp D below the year. Look for doubling in the date and the word Liberty. That's where it usually shows up the most. If anything looks off or funky, you might just be holding a gold mine disguised as lunch money. And if it looks like it was printed on a washer or feels weirdly heavy or light, that could be a sign of a planchet error. Time to do the coin dance. Okay, story time. So one day I'm running late to work. I spill coffee on my shirt, forget my lunch, and end up with one crumpled dollar bill and 4 pennies in my pocket. I'm hangry, stressed, and parked in a 2-hour spot with no quarters in sight. So I head to this janky corner store that looks like it hasn't sold a vegetable since the 90s, and I ask for change. The guy hands me 3 quarters and gives me back 1 penny that just felt different. Fast forward a few months, I'm watching a coin auction on YouTube, and bam, that penny pops up. It looks just like the one I had. I check my sock drawer where I toss all the weird coins I find, and guess what? It was a 1985 D with doubling on Liberty. My heart nearly jumped out of my mouth. Now I didn't sell it for 1.4 million, but I got a cool 7 grand for it. Still the most money I've made off spare change, and definitely the best parking ticket I've ever paid. So let's say lightning strikes and you find one of these beauties. What now? Don't just list it on eBay with a shaky photo and pray. Call a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade it, which is like getting a professional appraisal for your coin. Then look for an auction house or a trusted online platform. Heritage Auctions is a big one, or attend a local coin show. You'd be surprised how many millionaire collectors show up in New Balance sneakers. And hey, even if it's not the $1 million version, collectors will still pay good money for clean, well-kept coins. Coins in mint state condition, even without errors, can sell for hundreds, sometimes thousands, so don't overlook those shiny pennies. Alright, coin fam, time to wrap this up. Let's be real, the odds of finding a $1 million penny are slim but not impossible. It's like winning the lottery if the lottery was hiding in your couch cushions. But here's the thing, it's not just about the money, it's about the thrill, the mystery, the satisfaction of finding value where others see nothing. And who knows, maybe that 1985 D penny in your junk drawer is your ticket to early retirement, or at least a really nice vacation to somewhere that serves drinks with little umbrellas. If you had fun today, learned something new, or just want an excuse to dig through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap the like, give that notification bell a little love so you never miss a tip on coins worth money. We've got more stories, more strategies, and more ways to turn pocket change into payday. So stay curious, stay lucky, and remember, next time someone hands you a penny, take a closer look. This is your friendly coin detective signing off. Happy hunting, and may your next penny be priceless. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just change your life. I'm your host, the guy who checks every coin before dropping it in a vending machine, and today I've got a story that might just have you diving headfirst into your couch cushions. Let me ask you something, have you ever looked at a penny and thought, nah, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you that one very specific penny, the 1976 D Lincoln penny, could be worth up to $1.5 million? That's right folks, 1.5 million with an M, and not Monopoly money either. I know what you're thinking, it's a penny from the 70s, it probably smells like old jeans and bad disco decisions, but hang tight because this story is juicier than a tax refund you forgot about. In this video we're breaking down why this little copper coin is worth more than your car, maybe your house, and how you might be holding one right now. So grab a snack, maybe a jar of loose change, and let's dive into the world of high-stakes penny hunting. Now the D stands for Denver, which is where the coin was minted, not Detroit, not Dallas, not your cousin Derek's garage. The US Mint in Denver cranked out a whole bunch of these pennies, but only a teeny tiny handful turned out to be worth serious cash, and I'm talking life-changing cash. So why is one version of this penny worth more than most people's college tuition? Well, like any great treasure, it's all about rarity, condition, and a little bit of mystery. Let's start with the basics. The 1976 D penny is part of the Good Ol' Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the front you got Honest Abe doing his best stoic stare, and on the back the Lincoln Memorial, looking majestic as always. Now what makes some of these 1976 D pennies insanely valuable is a perfect storm of things. Number 1, condition. If it's in mint state like MS67 or above with that fresh from the mint shine, collectors go absolutely bonkers over it. But here's where Things get wild. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchet by accident. Yep, someone at the mint was probably daydreaming about lunch and boom, suddenly we've got a rare error coin. Imagine this, you're a mint worker in the 70s, it's hot, you're tired, you've listened to Dancing Queen one too many times, you toss a foreign planchet into the wrong machine and suddenly history is made. That's what happened with a few of these 1976 D pennies. Instead of being struck on the usual copper alloy, they got minted on silver or zinc planchets meant for foreign coins or different denominations. That's like ordering a burger and getting a filet mignon with a gold leaf on top by accident, and coin collectors love accidents like that. Now I know what you're wondering, how do I know if I have the $1 million penny? First off, grab your coin and a magnifying glass or just squint real hard like you're trying to read a text without your glasses. Look for the D mint mark under the date 1976. That's Step 1. Step 2. Check the weight. A regular 1976 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it weighs less or more significantly, that's a red flag that it might be a rare planchet error. Next, check for any weird colors or unusual surfaces. If it looks silverish or the edges don't match other pennies, you've got something special. Also flip it in your hand. Does it sound different? A silver penny has a different ring than a copper one. Give it a little flip, just don't throw it across the room and lose it forever like I did once with a rare nickel. That's a story for another day, and yes, it still haunts me. Speaking of stories, let me share something personal. I was at a garage sale a few years ago, you know, the kind where everyone's selling dusty VHS tapes and mismatched coffee mugs. I spotted this jar full of pennies for $1, just $1 for the whole jar. I figured, why not, maybe I'd find a wheat penny or two. Fast forward, I'm at home dumping the jar onto my kitchen table when I see this shiny little 1976 D penny that just looks different, lighter color, weird edge, beautiful luster. I nearly spit out my iced coffee. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but I did flip it for $200 on eBay. Not bad for a coin that cost me less than half a cent, right? That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. Your next paycheck might be jingling around in your change tray. Now back to the $1 million beauty. In recent years, a verified 1976 D error penny in pristine condition sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. That's enough for a dream vacation, a new home, or just a ridiculous amount of pizza. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want a $1 million penny in their back pocket? So how do you sell one if you think you've got it? Step 1. Don't spend it at Taco Bell. I know the craving is real, but hold on. Step 2. Take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll certify it, authenticate it, and give you a grade, which basically tells buyers, hey, this penny is legit and worth the big bucks. Also, pro tip, take good photos. Lighting is everything. You're not selling a selfie, you're selling history. Make it shine. Alright friends, we've come full circle from dusty coin jars to $1 million dreams. Who would have thought a 1976 D Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket? So the next time someone tells you to stop picking through your change, just smile and think about that sweet $1.5 million payday. You're not weird, you're just a treasure hunter in disguise. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up because that helps more people find out just how valuable their pocket change could be. And hey, if you want more coin tips, tricks, and stories that might just put money in your wallet, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week we're digging into the coins that are hiding in plain sight, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. So grab your magnifying glass, check those pennies, and remember, every coin has a story. Maybe yours is worth $1 million. Hey there, coin lovers and curious treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. Now I gotta ask you a question. Have you checked your pennies lately? No, like really looked at them? Because if you've got a 2006 D mint mark Lincoln penny, you might be sitting on a small fortune, and I don't mean a couple $100. I'm talking about a jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, wallet-exploding $1.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right, one little brown penny that could be hiding in your couch cushions is now worth more than a Lamborghini or even a small house. That's not clickbait, that's cold hard copper cash, well technically zinc, but you get the point. So grab your coffee or your snack or whatever gets you in the vibe, because we're about to dive deep into why this little 2006 D penny is making big waves in the coin collecting world. Alright, so let's start with the basics. First things first, the D on the penny stands for the Denver Mint. That's where this specific coin was produced in 2006. Millions of these were made. So what makes this one special? Well, not all 2006 D pennies are created equal. Just like people, some are born a little different, and in this case the difference is making collectors lose their minds. There's one known 2006 D penny that sold for a staggering $1.6 million, and no, that's not a typo, and no, it wasn't dipped in gold or blessed by Abraham Lincoln's ghost. This coin stood out because of a super rare minting error. We're talking about doubling misaligned dies and a sharply struck reverse that looks like it got a gym membership. The details on Lincoln's coat were unusually sharp and crisp, as if Honest Abe decided to upgrade his suit for the 21st century. Plus, the coin was in immaculate condition, graded MS70, which is basically coin speak for flawless, like it popped out of the press and was instantly sealed in a protective case before even hitting air. That's the kind of stuff collectors dream about now. Let me tell you a little story. A few months ago, I was at a yard sale just poking around as one does, and I found this old shoebox full of coins. The lady says, "Oh, those are just some old pennies my husband collected." I'm like, cool, probably nothing, right? But my coin brain goes full detective mode, and I sit down on the curb and start flipping through them like I'm trying to solve a crime. Boom, what do I find? A 2006 D penny with a little extra shine to it. My heart did a double take. I felt like I'd just uncovered pirate treasure. I rushed home, pulled out my loupe, which is basically the magnifying glass of nerdy glory, and examined every detail. Sadly, it wasn't the $1 million one, but for 5 seconds I was basically a millionaire in my mind, and that's the fun of it, right? The hunt is half the thrill. So how can you tell if you've got the lucky coin? Well, first check the mint mark. It needs that little D below the year 2006. Next, look for any doubling, especially in the letters or numbers. See if the strike looks unusually sharp, like Lincoln's beard looks extra majestic. You'll also want to check the weight and sound. Yes, sound. Some rare errors actually have a slightly different ring to them, but honestly, if you're unsure, just take it to a coin dealer or get it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Those are the pros who can tell you if you're about to make it rain or if you've just got another penny to throw in the change jar. The wild part is that these crazy rare coins often go unnoticed. People spend them, people lose them in their cars, people throw them in tip jars. It's like the universe hiding a golden ticket in plain sight, and you just have to be the lucky one who notices. And here's the thing, even if your penny isn't the penny, it might still be worth something. There are tons of other valuable 2006 errors like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong material. Some of those can still bring in hundreds or thousands of dollars. Not too shabby for something that started off worth 1 cent, right? So there you have it, folks, the humble 2006 D Lincoln penny, a coin most people wouldn't look twice at, is out here making headlines and breaking bank accounts. And who knows, maybe you've got one sitting in a jar by the door or hiding between your car seats like a sneaky little millionaire, just waiting for you to notice it. Now, if you love stories like this and want more tips on coins that could make you rich or at least give you a killer story to tell, hit that subscribe button, smash it like it owes you money. Turn on the bell too so you never miss a beat. We're gonna keep digging into coins worth cash, secret minting errors, and all the ways you can turn spare change into serious money. Hey, coin lovers and curious minds alike, welcome back to the channel where we make sense of the world one penny at a time. Yeah, that was a terrible pun, but let's roll with it because today we're diving into something that sounds too wild to be true. Can you believe there's a 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny floating around out there worth $1.7 million? Yep, you heard that right, a regular looking penny that most people would walk right past, or worse, toss in the junk drawer with expired batteries and crusty paper clips. But this penny isn't your average copper buddy. Oh no, this bad boy is a millionaire hiding in plain sight. So stick around because I'm about to spill all the shiny secrets behind this tiny treasure, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find one sitting at the bottom of your couch cushion. So first things first, let's talk basics. The 2002 Lincoln penny with no mint mark looks just like any other penny you've probably seen 1,000 times. Lincoln's profile, check. Wheat ears, nope, it's the memorial design. Still nothing flashy, right? But the magic is in what it's missing. No mint mark. What's the big deal? Well, coins without a mint mark were usually made in Philadelphia, and that's normal, but sometimes rare things happen during the minting process. Think of it like when your toaster magically burns Elvis's face into your breakfast. It's weird, rare, and suddenly worth money. In the case of this 2002 penny, there was a minting error, but not the kind you can spot with just your eyes. You've got to get up close and personal, maybe even flirt a little with a magnifying glass. What makes this coin so valuable isn't just the missing mint mark, it's the condition. It's flawless, like fresh out the vault. Flawless, graded MS70, which in coin nerd speak means perfection on a metallic level. No scratches nowhere, just pure copper beauty. And as if that wasn't enough, one of these rare flawless beauties was auctioned off recently, and boom, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Imagine paying for a soda with a coin that could buy you a lake house, a jet ski, and a lifetime supply of beef jerky. Now I know what you're thinking, alright Mr. Coin Guy, how do I know if I've got one of these magical pennies? Good question. Here's the checklist. 1. No mint mark below the date. 2. Perfect uncirculated condition. 3. Get it graded by a professional like PCGS or NGC. Don't trust your cousin Larry who says he's an expert because he once sold a Pokemon card for $20 now. Let me tell you a quick story that might make you dig through your coin jar faster than a kid looking for candy. A couple years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her garage. Boxes, old furniture, a mysterious lamp shaped like a pineapple. All of a sudden, we stumble across this coffee can full of coins. Not unusual, right? But me being the curious coin nerd I start sorting through them. I find this old penny that looked a little different. No mint mark, sharp detail, super shiny. I'm sweating thinking, did we just hit the coin jackpot? I send it in for grading. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million baby, but it was worth a few $100, and that was enough for a very nice dinner and a story I tell at every family BBQ. The point is that coins like this 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny do exist. They're rare, but they're out there, and people like you and me have found valuable coins in places like parking lots, change jars, and the bottom of backpacks from middle school. And hey, Even if yours isn't worth millions, you might find one worth hundreds or thousands that's still a win, right? More money for your hobbies, your savings, or just a mountain of tacos, no judgment. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, next time someone says it's just a penny, you can smile and say, not if it's the right one. The 2002 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny proves that sometimes the smallest things pack the biggest punch, and maybe, just maybe, your fortune is hiding in plain sight. Alright, my fellow coin hunters, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button like it owes you money, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way, all about coins that could turn your spare change into serious change. And hey, if you find anything cool, drop it in the comments. I want to hear your coin hunting adventures and maybe even feature one in the next video. Alright, let me ask you something. What if I told you that you might have a penny in your pocket right now that's worth 1.8 million bucks? Yeah, you heard me right. 1.8 million for a single copper coin. No, this isn't a prank. This isn't a dream. This is the story of the 1978 D Lincoln penny, a coin that looks like it's only good for gum under a vending machine, but could actually be your ticket to early retirement, or at least a pretty sweet vacation. Now, before you start flipping your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank like a raccoon with an espresso addiction, hang tight, because in the next 40 minutes, we're diving deep into what makes the 1978 D penny so special, how you can spot a rare one, and what a ridiculous mistake I made once thinking I had one. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But it's a funny story, so stick around. First off, let's time travel back to 1978. Disco was still somehow socially acceptable. Star Wars was taking over theaters. Gas was like 65 cents a gallon. And the US Mint, like it always does, was churning out pennies faster than a toddler loses socks. Now, the 1978 D Lincoln penny, with that little D mint mark just below the date, came out of the Denver Mint. Pretty standard stuff, right? Over 4.2 billion were made. That's billion with a B. So what in the flying numismatic nonsense makes one of them worth almost $2 million? Well, not all pennies are created equal. Most of them are average little guys. But every so often, one sneaks out of the mint with something a little funky going on. And now here's the juicy part. Some 1978 D pennies were struck with unusual errors or variations that slipped past the quality control folks at the mint. Could be double dies. Could be off-center strikes. Could be some weird combination of both and a sprinkling of minting magic, but the one that's currently shaking up the coin world? It's believed to be an ultra-rare transitional error. See, around that time, the US Mint was fiddling with different metals and minting processes. If a coin somehow got struck on the wrong planchet, say, a leftover blank from a different year or metal mix, it could result in something completely unexpected. And collectors? Oh, buddy. They eat this stuff up. Like gourmet meal prices. Hence, the whopping $1.8 million valuation. That's not a typo. That's a verified sale, baby. Okay, quick story. I was digging through some change last summer while trying to buy an ice cream cone, and I spotted a 1978 D penny. My brain did a somersault. I kid you not, I googled the value right there in line, holding up a bunch of hungry kids just trying to get their sprinkles on. I thought I hit the jackpot. I was already planning how I was gonna spend my millions. Private island? Jet ski shaped like a penny? I was full send. So I rushed home, pulled out my magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes of small change, and guess what? It was just a regular old penny. No errors. No magic. Just a copper circle of disappointment, but hey, it was a fun 2 hours thinking I was rich. And now I check every coin like it's a golden ticket from Willy Wonka. Alright, back to business. You're probably wondering what you should look for. First, grab a magnifying glass. Yeah, seriously. Don't try squinting and holding the penny up to the light like you're Indiana Jones. That only leads to eye strain and disappointment. The overall surface. Does it feel lighter? Sound different when dropped? Could be struck on the wrong metal. Check the edges too. Sometimes rare errors show up there like secret Easter eggs, and most importantly, don't clean your coin. Just don't. You wouldn't wash a Picasso in the sink, right? Same rule applies right now. The coin world is buzzing. Rare penny prices are spiking like it's crypto all over again. Why? A few reasons. More collectors are entering the scene thanks to online auctions. There's also just more awareness. YouTube videos, like this one, are making folks realize coins are cooler than they thought, and when a 1978 D penny hits $1.8 million, you bet your pockets people are gonna start looking, even if yours isn't that rare. Some versions of this penny in mint condition still fetch hundreds or thousands. So don't toss them. Especially not into the tip jar at your local coffee shop. You might be giving away a fortune for a latte. So here's the deal, go through your change. Seriously. Next time you pay with cash or raid that coin jar collecting dust since 2009, take a good long look at your pennies. Especially the ones with a little d under the 1978 date, you might just be sitting on a life-changing little piece of copper. Or maybe just something worth a cool few hundred. Either way, it's worth checking. And hey, it's kinda like treasure hunting, except instead of a map, all you need is good eyesight and way too much free time. And listen, if you found this video helpful, weirdly fascinating, or at least mildly entertaining, do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment letting me know if you've ever thought you found a valuable coin. Let's swap stories in the comments. I promise, no judgment if you freaked out over a Canadian penny like I did once. New videos drop weekly with more coin tips, crazy values, and how you can make money just by paying attention to your pocket change. Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever been going through your change, just grabbing a couple of pennies for the toll or a snack, when all of a sudden, boom, you find a penny that could make you a millionaire? Well, hold on to your wallets, folks, because today, we're talking about the 2019 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth an insane $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, a penny could be worth over $1 million. So if you've got a 2019 penny chilling in your coin jar, this video might just change your life. And let me tell you, I didn't believe it either at first, but hang tight, and I'll explain exactly why this little coin is causing a major buzz in the numismatic world. But before you start diving into every pocket and couch cushion to check your change, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss out on all the juicy coin tips and tricks coming your way. Alright, let's dig in. Alright, so let's talk about this 2019 no-mint Mark penny. Now, when most people think about coins worth a fortune, they're probably picturing rare old coins, maybe from the 1800s or something ancient like the 1943 copper penny. But, nope, today, we're focusing on a recent penny. A penny from just a few years ago. So what makes this 2019 penny worth $1.1 million? Well, it all comes down to a little mistake by the US Mint. You see, in 2019, some of the Lincoln pennies were struck without a mint mark on them, and that's the key. Let me break it down for you. Mint marks are those tiny little letters on coins that tell you where they were made. For example, if you see a D on a penny, it means it was minted in Denver. If you see an S, it's from San Francisco. But the 2019 no mint mark penny? No mint mark at all. It's like the penny's got no home, no identity. It's the coin equivalent of being a mystery. And mystery coins? Well, they can get pretty valuable, as it turns out. Now, don't get me wrong. This wasn't a huge, nationwide flub. These pennies are rare. I'm talking super rare. Like, imagine walking into a bakery and finding out that, instead of regular chocolate chips, they accidentally baked gold dust into your cookies. It's a rare mistake, and people are paying top dollar for it. Maybe that analogy was a bit much, but you get the idea. The point is, a coin from 2019 without a mint mark is an anomaly, and in the world of coin collecting, anomalies are worth their weight in gold. Well, if gold were made of copper. Host holds up a regular 2019 penny, so here's the deal. Normally, a 2019 penny with a mint mark is worth, well, a penny. Like, 1 cent. But that no mint mark version? It's more like a treasure hunt coin. Numismatists, those fancy coin nerds, and trust me, I'm right there with them, went crazy when they found out there were a few of these no mint mark pennies floating around. And suddenly, bam! The value shoots up to $1.1 million. How do I get my hands on one of these magical pennies? And trust me, I've been asking the same question. But, here's the kicker. These pennies weren't just thrown into circulation all willy-nilly. No. They were made in small batches, and unless you've got eagle eyes and the luck of a leprechaun, you're probably not gonna find one just laying around in your pocket change. That said, there are a few out there. Let me tell you, I learned this the hard way. A few months ago, I was at a local flea market, and some guy was trying to sell me a rare 2019 penny. I took one look at it, and of course, it had a mint mark. Not $1 million penny, folks. But hey, at least I walked away with a cool story and a couple of old records. Moral of the story? Don't get too excited unless you know what you're looking for. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe your next penny could be worth more than your car. Who knows? So, if you're out there checking your pennies, looking for that elusive 2019 no mint mark beauty, remember, it's rare, it's mysterious, and it could be worth a cool $1.1 million. But it's not going to fall into your lap just because you watched this video. You've got to keep your eyes peeled, stay patient, and keep learning. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be the lucky one to find it. If you've enjoyed this journey through coin history, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Because here at Coin Crazy, we've got more tips, tricks, and valuable coin info coming your way. You'll never know when the next $1 million penny could be sitting in your pocket. So subscribe, and let's go coin hunting together. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Picture this, you're sitting in your living room, just going through a box of pennies you found at the bottom of your drawer, and boom, you find a penny that's worth $1 million. Sounds like a wild dream, right? Well, that's exactly what could happen if you happen to find the rare 1990 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right, it's worth up to $1.2 million, and I'm here to tell you why you might want to take a second look at your pocket change. Grab your magnifying glass, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The 1990 no mint mark penny is an absolute gem in the coin world. Normally, you'd expect to see a mint mark on the coin, right? Whether it's a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco, it's a pretty standard part of how the US Mint marks its coins. But the 1990 penny? It's missing the mint mark. Now, you might think, well, what's the big deal? Oh, my friends, that missing mint mark makes all the difference in a world where most pennies are just, well, pennies, literally worth just 1 cent. This little guy can fetch you a hefty $1.2 million if you find one in perfect condition. It's like finding a diamond in a sea of gravel. But here's the kicker, it's not just any 1990 penny that's worth big bucks. It's the one with no mint mark, and that's where the rarity comes in. Well, back in 1990, there was an error at the US Mint, which resulted in some Lincoln pennies being struck without the usual mint mark. It's believed to be a mistake that happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Some coins slipped through the cracks, literally. While the error was probably just an oversight at the time, it turned out to be one of the best accidents in coin history. These coins weren't just part of a small batch. They were part of the regular mintage. So, a bunch of them ended up circulating around the country, and most of them were spent like regular pennies. Talk about a hidden treasure in plain sight. Now, let's get to the million-dollar question, why is a penny worth so much? It's all about rarity and condition. There are only a few of these 1990 no mint mark pennies in existence, and they were never meant to be. Imagine getting a limited edition action figure that was only released to a small group of people, and then it gets discontinued. All of a sudden, it's worth a small fortune. The same goes for this penny, the condition is super important too. Like most rare coins, if it's in pristine condition, the price skyrockets. A 1990 penny that's well preserved, with sharp details and no wear and tear, could bring in that jaw-dropping $1.2 million. If it's got a few dings, scratches, or wear from being tossed around in your pocket for years, well, sorry, it won't make you a millionaire, but it's still a cool piece of history. Now, I can already hear you asking, how do I know if I have one of these treasures? Good news, finding one isn't impossible. Here's what you need to look for. The first and most obvious thing is, it doesn't have the mint mark. Look closely at the reverse side of the coin, under the 1 cent inscription. If there's no D or S, you've got yourself a contender. You're looking for a coin with little to no wear. A mint state penny will have sharp edges and a clean surface. If you see heavy scratches or discoloration, the value drops. I know most of you are probably like, I don't even know where my pennies are. I get it. I once found a box of pennies I had forgotten about in my attic, and I swear, I thought I had stumbled upon a goldmine. Unfortunately, it was full of those dull, worn out pennies we all ignore. But I did find one that was kinda cool. It wasn't worth $1,000,000, but hey, it's a start. So, you've checked your pocket change, and you think you found a 1990 no mint mark penny? First off, don't get too excited just yet, get it checked by a professional. Take it to a coin dealer or an expert to confirm that it's the real deal. They can verify its authenticity and condition. Once you've confirmed that it's a true rarity, the next step is to consider getting it graded. Grading is what helps establish the coin's value in the marketplace. A higher grade coin will get a higher value, and a professional grading service will help you determine if it's mint state or just well worn. The 1990 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the rare coin that could make you a millionaire, or at least give you a really cool story to tell at your next family gathering. Remember, not every penny in your pocket is just a penny. Some could be worth more than you ever imagined. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want more tips, tricks, and coin strategies to help you discover even more hidden gems, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins worth a lot of money. Hey, what's up, coin lovers? Did you know there's a humble little penny out there, no bigger than the size of a dime, that could be sitting in your wallet, worth a staggering $1.3 million? No, I'm not talking about some rare ancient coin or a mystical treasure you've got to dig up from the ground. I'm talking about the 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, what? A penny? Are you sure about that? Oh, I'm absolutely sure. Trust me, this penny could be hiding in plain sight, and today, I'm going to tell you exactly why you need to check your change jar. Like right now, the 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another regular penny, but here's the kicker. It's one of the few coins out there that went a little off script when it was made. Now, let's rewind the clock to 1968. That was a pretty crazy year. The country was going through some major changes. People were protesting, music was rocking harder than ever, and let's be real, the fashion was, well, let's just say bell bottoms were a thing. But in the world of coins, something special was happening. In 1968, the US Mint produced tons of pennies, but there were a few of those pennies that ended up with some unusual characteristics. The 1968 D penny, with its mint mark, the D stands for Denver, became a rarity for reasons that still have collectors scratching their heads. There's an extremely rare error variant where some of these pennies were struck with a misalignment, a slight doubling of the date, and even sometimes the initials of the engraver, Frank Gasparo, appearing in strange places. These errors make the 1968 D penny one of the top contenders in the world of high-value coins. But these aren't easy to find. In fact, many of these pennies that made it out of the mint weren't in mint condition, so when one of them is, the value skyrockets. We're talking about $1.3 million on the high end. Okay, how do I know if I've got one of these magical $1,000,000 pennies? Well, that's the fun part. Finding one is a bit like searching for a needle in a haystack, but here's how you can spot it. The first thing you'll want to check is the mint mark on the back of the penny. It's right underneath Abraham Lincoln's portrait. If it's a D, you're in the right ballpark. But don't stop there. Get a closer look at the date. Is it crisp and clear? Or does it have some doubling, like two dates overlapping? If you notice anything that looks a little off, bingo, you might be holding onto something that could make your wallet a little thicker. But hold up, here's a funny story from my own coin hunting days that'll make you laugh. A few years ago, I was going through a bunch of pennies in a box I bought at a yard sale. It was one of those grab all the change for a buck deals. Well, I'm looking through these pennies, and I swear, I thought I hit the jackpot with a 1968 penny I found. I was practically doing a victory dance, thinking it was the one. It was a regular 1968 penny, not a D mint mark. Rookie mistake, right? I was crushed. But hey, it was a great reminder that not all pennies are worth a fortune, and you really have to pay attention to the details. So, lesson learned, double check the mint mark, date, and condition. Alright, so if you do happen to have one of these 1968 D pennies, you're in for a treat. If it's in near perfect condition, it could fetch upwards of $1.3 million at auction, depending on the rarity and the error involved. The higher the grade, the more money it can bring in. But even if it's not in mint condition, don't get discouraged. This little penny could still be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. If you've got any 1968 D Mint mark pennies lying around, take a closer look. You could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. And hey, even if it's just a regular penny, it's always fun to search for those hidden treasures, right? Now, if you're ready to dive deeper into the world of rare coins, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'll be dropping more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find coins worth money, and I've got more stories and lessons learned from my own coin hunting adventures to share. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Hey, fellow coin lovers! Hold on to your wallets because today, we're diving into a coin that's not just valuable, it's jaw-dropping. Imagine you're at home, rummaging through an old jar of pennies you've had for years, and bam! You pull out a 1967 Lincoln penny, and it could be worth a mind-blowing $1.4 million. No, seriously, that's the real deal. But before you start going through your penny jars with a magnifying glass, let's talk about this beauty, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth so much, and what makes it stand out. Grab some popcorn, relax, and let's get into the world of rare coins. This is going to be a fun ride. Well, let me explain. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare gem among a sea of pennies. You might be asking, what makes it different from the other pennies? Great question. Now, you're probably aware that US coins are typically stamped with a mint mark, those little letters that tell us where the coin was made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But in 1967, something unusual happened. The penny didn't get a mint mark. Most pennies from that year were produced in Philadelphia, which typically didn't put mint marks on coins. So, if you find a 1967 penny with no mint mark, congratulations! You've got yourself a very special, very rare coin that could be worth a pretty penny, or a lot more than that. The current market value is around $1.4 million. Yep, that's not a typo. And here's the kicker, it's not just the lack of a mint mark that makes this coin valuable. It's the fact that it's incredibly rare. Most 1967 pennies have a mint mark, so the ones without it are considered in error, making them far more desirable to collectors. Years ago, I was at a family reunion, and my cousin and I were talking about coins. I'll be honest, I didn't know much back then, but I was pretending to be all expert-like. Anyway, my cousin starts pulling out these old coins from a bag, and I remember thinking, why on earth would anyone keep pennies that old? He had a bunch of them, just sitting there in a random plastic bag, not even in a coin sleeve or anything. One day, he's like, hey, check out this 1967 penny, and I swear, I didn't even bother to look closely. But then he says, this is one of the no mint mark ones. I raised an eyebrow, thinking it was just some random coin with a cool story attached to it. Fast forward a few years later, I learned that a no mint mark 1967 penny could easily go for over $1 million. If only I had paid more attention back then. Now, I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. So let's talk about how you can tell if your 1967 penny is worth millions or if it's just a regular old penny. You'll need to look for the absence of that mint mark. As I said, most 1967 pennies have one, but a few lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, pennies don't. You're looking for a 1967 penny that was minted in Philadelphia and has absolutely no mint mark. Keep in mind, these coins aren't easy to find. So if you come across one, don't just toss it into a jar. Take a closer look. If the coin looks unusual, take it to an expert for verification, but hold your horses. Just because you've got a 1967 penny without a mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth $1.4 million. There are several factors that determine its value, such as its condition, rarity, and demand in the market. So, a penny that's been through the ringer and looks like it's been run over by a truck is not going to fetch anywhere near that price. But if it's in mint condition, with sharp details and no wear, it could be worth a pretty decent amount. If you do find one of these beauties, make sure to preserve it properly. Don't toss it back in a jar with all your other coins. Get a nice protective case or coin sleeve for it. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, and keeping it safe is one step in making sure you get the most bang for your buck when the time comes to sell or trade. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable piece of U.S. history that could be worth up to $1.4 million. If you ever find one, consider yourself lucky. But always remember, not every 1967 penny is going to make you a millionaire, and that's okay. There are plenty of other coins out there worth a lot of money that could be sitting in your pocket right now, but if you're serious about finding coins that could make you a fortune, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money. I'll be sharing everything I know about rare coins, how to spot them, and strategies to get the most value out of your collection. Plus, if you've got your own crazy coin stories, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing about people's hidden treasures. Hey, fellow treasure hunters and coin chasers. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into straight-up gold mines. Well, not literally gold, unless you're the kind of person who finds a gold nugget in their cereal box. So here's the deal. What if I told you that there's a penny from 1988 with a tiny little D mint mark that could be worth up to $1.5 million right now? Yep. A single cent. That tiny copper-colored disc you probably flicked across the room in high school is now worth more than your house, your car, and probably your student loans combined. Sounds nuts, right? But it's real. And today, we're diving deep into the juicy details of the 1988 D Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, what makes it rare, and how you could possibly find one just lying around. And I've even got a personal story about this coin that'll make you check under your couch cushions before this video's over. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's uncover how this tiny penny could turn you into the next coin millionaire. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about this shiny little superstar from 1988. You're probably thinking, it's just a penny. Big deal. But oh no, this one's different. This one's got a D mint mark, that little letter just below the date on the coin. The D stands for Denver, which is where it was minted, and now in general, most 1988 D pennies are pretty normal. They're made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating, and they look like your average Lincoln cent. But here's the twist, there are errors and varieties that make a few of these worth a small fortune. One of the most famous is called the reverse of 1989 variety. Sounds like a movie sequel, right? But stick with me. This happens when the reverse design used was accidentally from the 1989 die instead of the 1988 one. You might be like, what's the big deal? Well, for coin nerds like us, it's a huge deal. Basically, if the FG initials on the reverse, those are the designer's initials, Frank Gasparo, in case you want to sound smart at parties, are tucked closer to the Lincoln Memorial, then boom, you might have the rare variety. And if your coin is in pristine condition, like, never touched, minty fresh, you're talking about thousands. But if it's the ultra-rare, perfect error? That's where the $1.5 million jackpot comes in, and you're probably wondering, why on earth would anyone pay that much for a penny? Great question. The world of coin collecting is wild, my friend. Some collectors have deep pockets and a deep love for rare varieties, especially ones that slip through the cracks during production. These errors are like unicorns, they're rare, beautiful, and people go absolutely bonkers for them. A couple years ago, I was helping my cousin clean out her junk drawer. You know the drawer I'm talking about: random batteries, expired coupons, some unsharpened pencils, and, of course, a bunch of loose change. I'm sifting through the coins and bam, there it is. A 1988 D penny, and now, I'm not saying I screamed, but the dog ran into the other room. I pulled out my little magnifier like a coin detective, checked the FG initials, and for a second, I thought it might be the rare one. My heart was beating faster than when I saw my electric bill last summer. Sadly, it wasn't the unicorn, but that moment taught me something important. These coins are out there. People find them. And you might, too. Check your change. Seriously. Check your pockets, your couch cushions, the cup holder in your car. That old coin jar in your grandma's house? Yeah, rate it. Because one of those pennies, just one, might have that special D mint mark and that tiny design flaw that makes it worth a whopping $1.50 million. Now, before you go running off to flip every penny you've ever seen, make sure you like this video and hit that big red subscribe button. We've got way more tips coming on coins worth crazy money, plus strategies on what to look for, how to grade them, and how to sell them for top dollar. And hey, if you've ever found a valuable coin or think you might have one, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. You never know, your story might be the one that inspires someone else to become the next coin millionaire. Hey there, fellow coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. And if you're new here, buckle up, because today we're diving into a penny, yes, a humble little penny. That could be worth more than your car, your college tuition, and possibly even your house. Now, before you chuck that copper coin into the change jar, hear me out. This isn't just any penny. We're talking about the legendary 1979 D Lincoln penny with a current market value of $16 million. That's right, folks. 1.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. That's the kind of cash that makes you start checking every drawer, couch cushion, and laundry machine in a 10-mile radius. Stick around because I'm breaking down why this penny is worth so much, what to look for, and how you just might have a jackpot sitting right under your nose. The 1979 D Lincoln penny. What's the big deal, right? It's just a regular OL penny from Denver. Well, hold your metal detectors because there's more to this story than meets the eye. First, let's talk background. So 1979 was a wild year. Disco was dying, gas was expensive, and Star Wars was still blowing minds. And somewhere in the Denver Mint, a batch of Lincoln pennies was struck with something very special. Most of the 1979 D pennies are just regular coins worth face value, maybe a few cents more if they're in really good shape. But, and here's the twist, there are some extremely rare error coins and ultra high grade specimens that send collectors into a frenzy. We're talking about a few very specific conditions that make this coin worth a jaw-dropping $16 million. First things first, this $1 million penny is graded MS67 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and the grading scale goes up to 70. So if your penny looks like it just rolled off the mint conveyor belt yesterday without a scratch, you're already halfway to a fortune. Now, I don't mean the, hey, it looks shiny to me kind of good. I mean microscope perfect, no nicks, no scratches, no wear on the high points. Lincoln's jacket needs to be crisp, his beard flowing like he's starring in a shampoo commercial. Here's the kicker, most pennies from 1979 got beat up real fast. They were tossed in pockets, dropped on the floor, chewed by toddlers, you name it. Finding one that survived in pristine condition for over 40 years is like finding a needle in a haystack. If the haystack was on fire and the needle was made of gold, that's what makes this coin so rare and valuable. A few collectors got lucky and sent their shiny 1979 D penny to grading services like PCGS or NGC, and boom, those babies came back as ultra rare mint condition coins worth serious cash. And then you've got the holy grail of coin collecting, error coins. There are whispers of 1979 D pennies that were double struck off center or have weird planchet issues. Basically, the mint goofed up and created a masterpiece by accident. Imagine that you mess up at work and instead of getting fired, someone offers you $16 million. Now let me share a little story. So a few years ago I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. He's the kind of guy who keeps everything from rusty nails to broken radios. Anyway, we came across this old Folgers coffee can packed with pennies. I'm talking hundreds of them. So of course I did what any responsible grandchild would do. I poured myself a coffee and dumped the whole can on the table to dig through it. Hours later my hands were dirty, my back hurt, and I had a newfound respect for coin collectors. But here's the wild part, I actually found a 1979 D penny in there. My heart started racing. I grabbed a magnifying glass. My phone light was on full blast. I felt like Indiana Jones looking for treasure. Now, unfortunately, mine had a few too many scratches and didn't pass the mint state test, but you better believe it lit a fire in me. Ever since then, I check every penny that crosses my path. You never know when Lady Luck will toss a $16 million penny your way. First, check the date and mint mark. Look for 1979 with the little d under the date. Second, check the condition. If it's scratched, dinged, or it looks like it went through a war, probably not your golden ticket. But if it looks crisp and perfect, consider sending it in for grading. Third, if you notice anything weird like the design is off-center or doubled letters, take it seriously. That could be a valuable error. Finally, stay patient. Coin collecting is like fishing. Sometimes you sit for hours with nothing, but when you get a bite, it could be life-changing. So there you have it, folks, the 1979 D Lincoln penny. A coin that could be hiding in plain sight worth a staggering $16 million. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely checking my change after this. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips on how to find coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button, smack that like, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a beat, whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes the thrill of the hunt. This channel's got your back. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep your eyes open and your pockets full of potential, and remember that next penny could be your $1 million payday. Hey, welcome back, my fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever flipped a penny and thought, wow, this could be worth a fortune? No? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into one humble little coin that could literally change your life, the 1971 mint mark Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. One of these little brown coins, something most people ignore or leave at the bottom of their cup holders, is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. That's right. $1.7 million. For a penny. I know what you're thinking. What kind of alternate universe are we living in where a penny is worth more than my house? Well, stick around because we're about to go full Indiana Jones on this thing. We'll break down why it's worth so much, what to look for, and how you might have one just sitting around. Plus, I'll share a little story about how I almost cashed in and totally blew it. Spoiler alert, it involves laundry, heartbreak, and a very confused cat. So grab your coffee, shake out that old coin jar, and let's get into the legend of the 1971 Lincoln penny. Alright, so first, let's talk about what makes this specific penny so darn special. Now, most pennies are made in massive quantities. Billions with a B. The 1971 Lincoln pennies were no different. But what makes the 1971 mint mark stand out is not just its limited production, but the freaking crazy rarity of certain high-grade proof versions. We're talking about a few ultra-rare examples that are struck so perfectly, collectors drool over them like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. The S stands for San Francisco, which was responsible for producing proof coins that year. These weren't just regular coins tossed into circulation, they were made for collectors, struck with more detail, on highly polished dies, and basically treated like the Beyoncé of pennies. But here's where things get spicy. In 1971, some of these coins were minted with a special type of die known as the doubled die obverse. And if you're thinking, whoa, what the heck is a doubled die? Don't worry, I got you. A doubled die happens when the design on the die, the thing that stamps the coin, shifts slightly during production, causing parts of the coin's image to be doubled. On the 1971 penny, if you look closely at Lincoln's profile, the date, or the phrase "In God We Trust," you might notice what looks like a shadow or duplicate image. That's the money maker. That's the magic, and if your coin has that, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Well, a copper mine, technically, but you get the point. Now let's talk numbers. In 2023, one of these rare 1971 double die proof pennies sold at auction for, wait for it, $1.7 million. That's like winning the lottery just for checking your spare change. But wait, it gets better. Most people don't even know this penny is valuable. It's the ultimate underdog story. It's like if your weird Uncle Larry suddenly got cast in a superhero movie. No one sees it coming. Already off to a bad start, right? Anyway, I hear this rattling noise in the dryer and realize I left some change in my jeans. I pull it out and, lo and behold, there's a shiny 1971 penny sitting on top of the lint trap, just chillin' like it's about to pay rent. I get excited. My heart starts pounding. I whip out my magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes, start checking for doubling. Date looks weird, Liberty looks off, and I'm thinking this is. I rush to my local coin shop, full of hope, sweat, and caffeine. The guy looks at it, squints, gives me a smirk, and says, "Nice coin." But it's not the doubled die. Crushed. Utterly crushed. I went home, ate 2 pints of ice cream, and promised myself I'd learn everything about rare coins. And now here we are, baby. Don't toss your pennies. And definitely check your change before you toss it in the laundry. Okay, first, never underestimate the power of a penny. That 1971 Lincoln penny might look like just another crusty coin, but with the right features, that special doubled die, it could be worth more than most luxury cars a second. Always inspect your coins. Grab a magnifying glass, do a little detective work, and who knows? You might just stumble on one of these rare beauties. If you made it this far into the video, you are officially part of the coin crew. Welcome! And if you're digging this content, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button like it owes you money, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment telling me about the weirdest coin you've ever found. I've got more tips, tricks, and treasure stories coming your way. Whether you're a casual collector or a full-blown coin nerd like me, this channel's got your back. Hey coin lovers and treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where your loose change might just be your golden ticket to riches. Now hold on to your wallets and maybe take a peek inside them, because today we're talking about a humble little coin that could make you a millionaire. Yup, you heard me right. The 1980 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth up to $1.8 million. No, that's not a typo. $1.8 million for a penny you probably used to buy gum with back in the day. Stick around because we're diving deep into why this coin is so rare, how to spot one, and how you could potentially cash in big. And just so you know, if you've ever accidentally vacuumed up spare change, you might want to go digging in that dust bag later. So what's the deal with the 1980 mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, let's start with a quick refresher, because I know some of us haven't looked closely at a penny since we were 10 years old, trying to flatten it on a railroad track normally. Pennies from 1980 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Denver have a D mint mark. San Francisco coins usually have an S, and Philadelphia coins back in 1980 were unique because they often had no mint mark at all. But here's the twist: not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. Some 1980 no mint mark pennies were struck with such perfection and on rare planchets that they became major collector's items, and I mean major as in $1 million major. Now picture this: some guy cleaning out an old junk drawer finds a penny that looks a little shinier than the others, and boom, it turns out to be worth $1.8 million. And here I am still looking for socks that match these specific rare 1980 no mint mark Lincoln pennies. Have certain qualities that set them apart. First, they're struck on a bronze planchet with flawless detail, which is unusual since the mint was transitioning materials during this time. Second, the coin has to be in pristine condition. We're talking mint state MS67 or higher, so no bite marks, no scratches, no turning it into a makeshift screwdriver back in college. And third, there's the mystery of a few rare double die errors on some 1980 no mint mark coins. Double die errors happen when the coin's design is stamped more than once, slightly off alignment, making letters or numbers look a bit fuzzy or doubled. Collectors go wild for these mistakes because they're like finding a Picasso where he accidentally spilled his coffee on the canvas. Now if you're sitting there wondering if you've got a mini fortune sitting in your coin jar, you're not alone. A couple years ago I was cleaning out my dad's old garage. Now my dad was the kind of guy who didn't throw away anything. We're talking broken lawn mowers, half-used paint cans, and for some reason a bag full of pennies from the 70s and 80s. After about an hour of being hunched over like a squirrel counting acorns, I found a 1980 penny with no mint mark. He squinted, I flipped it, I even did that weird dad move where you breathe on it and rub it on your shirt to see better. It wasn't one of the $1 million ones, but let me tell you, the thrill of maybe, just maybe, having found a jackpot coin was totally worth the back pain. And hey, that coin did end up being worth a solid $25, so win-win. Now if you're thinking, okay, how can I tell if I've got the golden ticket penny? Here are some tips. Second, inspect the coin for any doubling in the letters, especially on Liberty and IN God we trust. Third, look at the condition. If it's been through your washing machine 5 times, it probably isn't going to fetch much, but if it looks crisp, sharp, and fresh like it just came out of the mint, you might have something special. Also consider getting it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yet I know they charge a fee, but if your penny turns out to be a rare one, that's a small price to pay for potentially becoming a millionaire. Think of it like buying a lottery ticket that you already own. Let's say you do have the $1.8 million penny. Would now, well, first, try not to scream too loud. Your neighbors will think you've won the actual lottery. Second, don't spend it at the gas station by mistake, please. Third, reach out to a professional coin dealer or auction house. There are reputable dealers who specialize in high value coins and they can guide you through getting the best deal. Trust me, you don't want to sell a rare penny to some guy on the internet named Coin Lover 6969. That's not how you make millions, that's how you lose your coin and your dignity. Oh, and bonus tip: if you're showing your coins to someone, don't say "look at my rare coin" and throw it at them like a poker chip. Use gloves, store it in a protective case, and keep it away from moisture, heat, and children who think coins are edible. And while we're on the topic, always check your change. I had a friend who got a 1943 copper penny in his change at a donut shop. Yes, those are also worth hundreds of thousands. He was too busy complaining about how they forgot his sprinkles to notice, so take a second and flip those pennies over. You never know what you're holding. This hobby is like treasure hunting, except you don't need a shovel or a pirate hat, just a little curiosity and maybe a magnifying glass. First, never underestimate a penny, especially if it's from 1980 and has no mint mark. Second, that old jar of coins in your closet might be the safest investment you didn't know you had. And third, if you want to make money while having fun learning some history and becoming the Sherlock Holmes of spare change, then coin collecting is where it's at. Now if you enjoyed this video and you want more awesome tips on how to find valuable coins in your own home, grocery store, change, or couch cushions, hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Smash that like button, leave a comment if you think you might have a rare penny, and share this video with a friend who always pays in exact change, who knows you might be helping them uncover a small fortune. And don't forget, we've got more videos coming up on coins worth thousands, even millions. Stay curious, stay patient, and keep flipping those pennies.